as we take a look at our Huntington Bank highlights from the game. And yes, the damper mood, Kyle, because you take the loss tonight, but that first period was maybe as good of a hockey first period as we have seen all season long.
Yeah, tons of speed, tons of skill on display, structured by both teams. It really was great hockey, and despite the amount of chances that were had by each team, it was 0-0 going to the locker room.
Yeah, it really was. And then, Toledo led the charge there with the physical play there in the first. I thought they led the charge all game in that regard. Even though we saw the fisticuffs and we saw things happening, they were the more physical team.
I would agree. I would say for the physical aspect, it was something that, Toledo made a point to be hard on, Reading's top six. Obviously, they have a lot of skill up there, and, they tried their best to make it a long night.
And Toledo's penalty kill, we were remiss. I thought about asking Dan Watson about that. Probably should have. But they were dynamite tonight. 5 for 5 in a penalty kill department.
Yeah, I mean, and when you lose a game 4-1, something like this, that's something that you can cling to, that your penalty kill was excellent, in a big moment when it needed to be.
Yeah, we go on into the second period. Toledo kept garnering a lot of chances. Remember, they ended up with 40 shots tonight. A lot of them ended up being really good scoring opportunities. Yes, maybe you could have been in front more often, but it's hard to do all the time. You're going to get chances otherwise, and Toledo did that.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of found a way to manufacture a little bit of offense, and unfortunately, whenever they did, Hayden Hockey was right there.
Yeah, he had a terrific night tonight with 39 saves. Look at some of those that came out throughout the game. Ryan Lowney hit a post behind him, though. Brett Boeing, I thought for sure was going to score right there on that play. Thought Toledo was going to grab the lead. I still think it, and maybe you do as well. If Toledo had scored first in this game, it probably changes the whole thought.
I agree. I think they really did, for the most part, carry the play. They just didn't get rewarded for it, and credit to Reading for hanging in the fight, and then finding a way to take the lead and not really give it back.
And speaking of fights, we saw two of them in the second period. Ian Parker, the first one. Cole Frazier, this one there, after he took the check from behind. That was the one that really kerfuffled you a little bit, because you thought, man, that was an extra call that probably shouldn't have gone against Cole Frazier there. And then we got into the third period, and that's when all of a sudden the Reading Royals, they didn't get a ton of scoring opportunities in the third period, but they made the most of their chances.
Yeah, and it seemed like, just the Barry play that we thought was going to go. It seemed like whenever they found a way to get a goal, it was on something like this, a play that didn't really look like it was anything, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my goodness, it's in the net. How did that happen?
At Toledo counter, Brandon Schultz got the goal to tie the game at 1. That came less than a minute after Reading had scored to make it 1-0. Thought Brandon Hawkins was going to score here. This was what you were talking about all night long. They were inches away from having multiple goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't realize that, Hockey got a paddle down save on that, kind of a diving desperation. Here's another one, gets his toe on it. One of Reading's players dives, gets a glove on it. And here's that goal that when I said, kind of like almost a nothing play that ends up, that's a defenseman 24 jumping into the play and, scoring a goal. And, those are the kind of things I talked about on the broadcast. That's probably a young kid based on the look of his face, and those things don't get forgotten.
No, they certainly do not. Reading finding the back of the net there as well. Dan Watson, he'll be fired up, ready to go for tomorrow. As we look at the College Advantage stats, the final ones from tonight, 40-25 were the shots that favor the Toledo Walleye. I know it doesn't always tell the story, but it certainly favored the way Toledo played tonight, that they carried a bit more of the play, just didn't end up with the final result.